Hey everybody, this is Dan Collins of the CUNY Kingsborough Math and Computing Department, and in this video here I'm going to show you how to use the Blackboard Course Copy feature. Now, I'm recording this in June of 2020, and at this point you have survived your 2020 spring semester, and congratulations to you for that. And some of us at this point are now getting ready for our second ever semester of online teaching using Blackboard, possibly for our summer semester or possibly for our fall semester. And so now for the first time you're making a transition from one semester to another on Blackboard. One thing that can save you a lot of time is the Blackboard Course Copy feature, which allows you to immediately in one step copy all of your materials from your old section of a course to your new upcoming section of a course. So that's what this is about, and I think this is probably a feature that will save you some time and come into play right at this particular historical moment. So hopefully this is well timed here. All right, so the basic idea is what I just said there. The course copy feature allows you to copy any kind of content, including your documents, your announcements, all your tests, your rubrics, your grade center columns, your discussion board threads, really basically anything. Like the things that I've got listed here are the things that I personally use in my courses these days. But basically any kind of content that you put on a Blackboard at all can be copied from one Blackboard section to another, particularly between semesters is how we usually use this. So a very common thing as we're setting up for a new semester is we get our any kind of revisions to our syllabus ready offline, and then we're setting up our Blackboard module, and we use the course copy feature to copy all the old stuff to the new section. And then anything that we need to edit or revise or make new, then we then start making edits or new uploads based on that. So here's the overall idea what this process is going to look like. On Blackboard, I'm going to have to enter the old course section first. I guess whenever I use this, I have to remind myself about that because it's actually a little bit counterintuitive to me. But anyway, you got to go into the old course section first. When you're in there, under your administrator menu, you're going to click on Packages and Utilities Course Copy. You're going to have to find the new course ID on a menu of possible courses. At least here at CUNY Kingsborough, you've got the date and the semester in the name of the course, so that's usually the thing that I hunt for myself. So select the new course ID. Then select all the content areas and any kind of items you'd like to copy forward. So like I say, for me, it's my content areas, my documents, my course information, tests, rubrics, grade center, discussion board information, stuff like that. Also announcements, right? All your old announcements you can just copy forward. Then you'll submit. You'll have to wait a while. Depending on the load on the system, I find that the course copy process takes maybe half an hour, maybe 1 or 2 hours, depending on how busy the system, the back-end system is. So I'll submit it, and then I'll just go away and do some other job for an hour or two. Then I'll come back and check on it, and then start editing anything that I need to really revise for the new semester. That's the course copy process, basically. Now, we'll keep in mind a couple things that we might want to do after that's over, actually. So after the course copy is over, I personally remove the old course from my main Blackboard menu. That's the last time that I need to look at it in a particular semester, actually. So I tend to do that. Now, I showed you how to do that on another video, actually, how to edit your instructor main menu on Blackboard and get rid of all the old courses you don't need to look at anymore. This particular moment, right after I do my course copy for a new semester, that's when I get rid of that stuff, or at least remove it from visibility. And the other thing is that there's another tool in Blackboard. Under Course Tools, there's a Date Management tool, which allows you to easily revise any dated items. So as you copy forward your announcements and your assignments with their deadlines and your tests with their availability windows and so forth, all of those dates remain fixed to the old semester. They don't get changed at all by default. But once your course copy is over, you can go in this Course Tools Date Management tool and fairly easily enter what was the date that your old semester started at, what is the date that your new semester starts at, and then it just goes through and revises every single dated anything in your module according to that date delta, I guess I would say. So if that's 200 days going forward, they add 200 days to every single date in your system. And then you've got one menu there that you can independently modify it if you need to. Now, I'm not planning on showing you that in this video. Maybe if a lot of people need that, I'll make another video for that. But just be aware that after your course copy is over, you might want to go look at Course Tools Date Management and update the dates that you've got tagged onto all that stuff. And again, maybe this is the first time you're doing this, the first time you're transitioning from one semester to another in Blackboard, and therefore here come a couple extra tools to make this particular transition easy for you. So your knowledge of Blackboard features is increasing all the time here. All right, so I'm going to go to Blackboard here. And what I've done here to kind of focus ourselves is I've reduced my main menu to just 2 courses here. Again, I am taping this here in June of 2020, but what I've actually already done the course copy for my fall semester courses actually, so I can't show you that. But what I've done here is I've reduced my main menu just to 2 courses that I've had in the past. One is from the 2017 spring term, our Math R3 Elementary Algebra Part 2 course for STEM majors that we have here at CUNY Kingsborough. So that's a course that I did teach, and that course was complete as of 2017, and that's got a bunch of announcements and a bunch of documents and grades and so forth that were all completed. And the other thing that I have here is I have a 2018 section, 2018 spring section of the same course, Elementary Algebra 2 Math R3 here. That one I actually didn't use at the time. It's currently actually empty because I had more than one section in spring of 2018. And what I did is I merged the students from this section that you're looking at into another section that's currently invisible. And I did all my documents and all my uploads and all my data information in that other currently not visible section. This section right here is totally empty with no information in it. So it's a pretty good target for a course copy. Let me just go confirm that that is as I think it is currently set up. So 2017 spring term. Go in here. So here's the announcements that I had at the time. And over in the top left, you can see how I've got the main menu for students set up. In another video, I showed that I modify that. I edit some of the things that come by default from our IT department. And so the 4 areas that I have here on my main menu are announcements, of course, documents for course information, quizzes, which are actually Blackboard tests, which at the time I called quizzes, and then the See My Grades button here for students to see there. So I do have a bunch of announcements here in this section, this 2017 section. Here are some documents like the slideshows for my course, practice tests, things like that. My quizzes, my Blackboard quizzes that I would give online for this particular class, a bunch of Blackboard tests you can see here. And then, of course, the grades. I guess I won't bother to show you that because it has some student information in it. But, of course, the Grade Center has all the actual tests. The quiz scores show up there. The weighted total formula that I use for this. The grade schema that produces a letter grade at the end is all set up in there as I want it there. So this was as it appeared at the end of 2017 spring term for this course. So it's pretty much what I think. Documents, quizzes, just remember that. Now here is the untouched 2018. So again, in this video, we're basically gonna role play as if I was about to start my 2018 spring term here. And currently, this module doesn't have anything that I'm currently interested in. And again, you know, the default menu here comes with these default content areas that the IT department sets up. Personally, I like that to be minimalist. I like my students to be focused on just exactly the things that we're going to use in my course. So I think, as I showed in another video, I delete some of this stuff. Like this home page is just, I don't use any of this stuff and it's so cluttered. So I actually delete this, and I have to say, yes, I'm deleting it. And I have to say, yes, I'm deleting it like 3 times. They really kind of don't want you to do that. Anything that I do delete there, I can get back if I want to, so I'm not too worried about that. I guess I'll just leave the other stuff. But personally, like if you're not using the discussion board, just delete that link there. I would delete the groups. I would delete the help. I do use announcements and See My Grades. Now notice that the 2 things that I'm using in the 2017 semester, right, I've got a folder called Documents and I've got a folder called Quizzes. Now that doesn't exist by default. That's stuff that I added using this add content area here. But not a big problem, because if I do the course copy forward, if folders match, so if I've got stuff in the announcements folder of the old thing, that'll automatically get copied into the announcements folder in the new thing. If there's a folder in the old thing that there isn't any folder for in the new thing, they'll just make it during the course copy. So I'm not too worried about these things syncing up precisely, because any folder I have in the old thing will get created automatically in the course copy. So things will sync up basically as I would expect there. Anyway, this particular 2018 section currently, as you can see here, has no announcements whatsoever. Right? The course content area is totally blank. There's no quizzes or tests here or anything like that. If we went and looked in the Grade Center, again, I'm not going to do that because it shows students, you would see the Grade Center is currently blank. It doesn't have any quizzes or tests. The weighted total formula hasn't been set up, anything like that. But we'll fix that in the course copy in just a second. All right, so granted that's where we're starting here currently. Now we're actually going to go through the course copy process. And again, if you remember from that slideshow there, I'm going to go into the old one, is where you have to start for this process. So I'm going to go into my old Blackboard module that actually has a bunch of content there. And it is under Packages and Utilities. So I'll just kind of expand this. This is all under the Administrator Course Management, I guess I should say the Instructor Course Management part of the menu. Under Packages and Utilities. Second thing down there is Course Copy. That is what the video is about. All right, so here's the copy course interface, and we'll just kind of march through here and see what options we'd like to use. So select copy type. I'm going to leave this as it shows up. I am copying course materials into an existing course. I don't even know what the other options here. I guess that's the only option. Maybe someday there will be another option. Anyway, that's what we're doing there. Now, the main thing here is I do have to select the destination course ID. I guess if I had been smart, I would have picked up the numerical ID of the new course. But what I always do is I hit this Browse menu, and I go hunt for it in this list. Let me see here. Now, again, fortunately, the course names at CUNY Kingsborough are always tagged with the year and the semester. So it's probably easiest if I sort this column. And, usually I am copying into the most recent semester. So if I sort it again, I'll see the newest stuff at the top, which is what I usually want to see. Right, like this. Here's the 2020 stuff. So usually the thing I'm copying would be one of these first 3 or 4 items. That's actually what I just did yesterday for my fall courses, actually, is copy stuff into here. But in this case, I got to go to 2018 spring term R3 section 7. I guess it's this, right? 2018 spring term elementary algebra 2 R3 section 7. Yeah, that's the one that was created in 2017, but it is the 2018 spring term. I'm pretty sure that's the one that I want. Okay, so you do want to be careful about this. I've never made a mistake with it before, but I assume it would be pretty aggravating to copy 100 different course documents into the wrong semester section. So I'm pretty careful about that, and I'll hit submit to that at least. So that's the course ID that the materials are going to get copied into. Now, what items are going to get copied? One option would be you could just click Select All here. I've seen at least one college's help site that recommended you just go ahead and select all. There's probably no harm in that. Anything that you ever modified, probably you want a copy of. So you can probably just hit Select All. Now, I've never done that. I'll actually unselect all. So just to be kind of extra careful, I do go through and pick specifically the stuff that I use to be careful about it. Anything under content areas, I'm going to click this box here and get all the content areas. So anything that I personally have uploaded stuff in is going to be included under content areas. Actually, nowadays I have a couple more. I have as of 2020, I have a folder for like testing, and I have a folder for course information just for my syllabus. And so nowadays I'll have an extra couple subfolders show up under here. But I'll just click all the content areas, and all the documents and all the stuff in any of the folders in the old course will get copied forward, which is what I like. Other stuff that's kind of automatic Blackboard stuff is I want to keep copies of all my announcements. Now, when I make announcements one semester, I actually kind of think ahead of, is this going to be a permanent thing that I'm going to need to reuse in future semesters? So, here I am a computing instructor, so I kind of think about what way can I do my work to reduce the duplications as much as possible. So I try not to embed dates in text in my announcements. I try not to do a whole lot of like one-off announcements, but think, if this announcement for, maybe the start of the course and maybe when the final exam happens and things like that are things I'm going to reuse, then all I have to do is, have a well-written announcement and update the release date each semester when I do a course copy. So actually most of my announcements are going to get reused and recycled each semester, which saves me some time. I don't care about any of this stuff. I don't use any of that. I don't use this. Now I actually do use, nowadays I use the discussion board as a matter of fact. I didn't in this term, but I'll just click this just to kind of show you what it looked like, the discussion board. Include starter posts for each thread in each forum. I guess if you have if you have an introductory, like, hey, everybody, I'm your instructor. I'm pleased to meet you. Please say hello here. You might want to click that. At one point I considered that and I stopped doing it. So I'll click this, and I do have a bunch of, in the courses that I use that for, I have, here's your posts for week 1 is one forum thread, and here's your posts for week 2. So by clicking this box here, I'll get those thread categories, but I won't be copying forward any of the posts. I'll have a bunch of empty threads with no posts is what I'm doing there. Grade center columns and settings, I definitely want to do this. So click this box here, and the grade columns for all those quizzes, right, that I made will automatically be present. Whatever columns I want to fill in by hand, maybe for paper tests, will be present. The weighted formula columns will be copied forward with that formula automatically. And my grade center will be set up exactly like I want it to at the outset. Now all those columns will be empty with no grades, but at least the formulas and the content and the labels and things like that will all be like they were in the old semester. So definitely that's going to save me lots and lots of time. Let's see here, rubrics. So the things that I use to grade assignments and tests by just a click button menu system, the rubrics there, I definitely want to copy that forward. Settings, I don't really think I have anything important there. Test surveys and pools, definitely want to do that. So any tests that I made in the old semester will get copied forward. And I definitely want to do the tests and the grade center at the same time. If for some reason you didn't click something and you came back later on, you said, oh, I meant to copy forward, I don't know, the journals. I don't use that, but you can certainly come back later and redo the course copy process and get the stuff back. However, with the tests, the tests that you assign are linked to specific columns in the grade center, and I think that you really want to copy both of them at the same time to keep that linkage. If you copy the tests at one time and the grade center at a different time, the tests, I believe, won't be linked with the right columns, and you'll have to relink them, which is a huge problem. So anyway, I'll just try to be careful and get all the stuff, particularly the grade center columns and the test surveys, in the same course copy sequence. So I get that stuff, I think, the way that I want it. So let me just look at my standard checklist that I use for myself. So all the content areas, all the announcements, the course information, which is a new thing, which you're not seeing here, discussions, and I usually have another folder for assignments, which I also make sure to have checked, which I wasn't using back in 2017. All right, so I think I'm pretty good there. Course contents, announcement, discussion board, grade center, rubrics, test survey. Yeah, there we go. That's my checklist. All right. So down at the bottom here, a couple different ways that you could do the course copy, file attachments here. So you can see by default, the second thing here is checked, where they're going to copy any kind of web links, I believe, and actually copies of the content. So a document that you had in the old semester, there will be a copy made. It won't exactly be the same thing. I believe that this first thing is a slightly more sophisticated method where you have like a global course files repository, and instead of making copies of the documents, your module would just have links to the global repository. And I think the idea here is you just have one single copy of it, and it gets reviewed semester after semester, or a whole bunch of separate modules, saving space, saving hard drive space on some server somewhere. However, I find that almost everything I use, I'm going to make some kind of edit to. So, usually I'm updating my practice tests, usually I'm updating my lecture notes and a bunch of handouts. So more often than not, my documents are going to have to get edited a little bit anyway. So I've never bothered to try to use that sophisticated method. I just make copies, and then what's going to happen is, just to be clear, if I do edit the documents in the new module, they will not in any way affect the old module at all. And that actually is what I want. Maybe possibly someone wants to get more sophisticated and use the global repository. I have not done that. I don't think it's really necessary. You definitely don't want to click this last box. This last box for include enrollments in the copy would actually include all the students, all the student names, IDs, and so forth in your grade center. And I assume that it would actually, assuming the system even lets you do that, that then the students, your old students, would have the appearance of actually taking the course all over again on Blackboard, and they would be confused and you'll be confused. So definitely for our purposes, don't click that last checkbox. All right, so that's basically it. So get the, in summary here, find the new course you want to copy into, select the stuff that you want to copy forward, particularly the content areas. For me, announcements, grade center stuff, test surveys, pools. That's probably the most important stuff there. Or again, you could just click the select all button at the top. That's probably safe. I've never done that, but I bet that would probably work fine for you. All right, I'm going to click submit. Now, you see here at the top, it says success course copy action queued. An email will be sent to you when the process is complete. So as I said at the outset, depending on the load on the system and depending on how much material you have to be copied, in my experience, this can take half an hour. It can take 1 or 2 hours maybe. Maybe right now I'm hitting it in a low load moment and maybe it'll be immediate, but probably not. So I'm going to go back to home, back to my home page here. And I'll just look, maybe I get lucky and I'm going to look at the new course. And oh my goodness, it is complete. Holy moly. Okay, so I think probably last time I did this, I did actually have to wait for an hour or two, but I think maybe the load was higher and probably everybody was doing a whole bunch of course copies at the same time. So you and I are both in luck for the purpose of this video. And we can see here that the source from the old course to the new course is actually complete. And I could click here for a detailed log, but I never do that. I don't even know what that is. And so now you can see in the new course that used to be empty, right? I have all those announcements. All those announcements from the prior semester are all here. They still have the 2017 dates applied to them. So again, later on for all that kind of stuff, I could possibly use the date management tool. Maybe I'll make another video for that. So I've got the announcements here. You can see that the folders that didn't used to exist, my customized folders from the 2017 term, have been made new here, right? So now at the bottom of my menu, they've added the documents that used to be there, and I have all the same syllabus, slideshows, practice tests, class handouts that was in the 2017 term. And then if I go to the quizzes folder here that just got made, sure enough, I've got my survey, my diagnostic, my weekly quizzes have all been copied forward. The default content area is still empty here. If I'm not going to use that, I would delete it. The discussion board that I'm probably not going to use for an algebra class, I would probably get rid of that from the menu at least, and groups and help. But the new stuff here, maybe I would move that up to the top, because that's stuff I'm actually going to use along with See My Grades. And then everything below See My Grades I would probably get rid of there personally. So pretty neat. Again, the other thing I could do is I could go to the grade center and we could confirm that all the columns that I used to have and the weighted total formula and all the averaging columns that I have, things like that, have been copied forward correctly. But again, that has student names and IDs, so I'm not going to show that in the video here. So pretty nice. I guess I'm pretty good with that. And at this point, if I wanted to go to documents and I wanted to maybe I've revised some of my slideshows, I can remove them here and upload the new copies. Again, that does not modify the old semester in any way, so that's pretty nice. And the next thing I could possibly do is go to the main menu and remove the old thing. So just as I have that in another video, but just as a reminder, you hit this gear icon here, and you go into the Manage My Courses, and I scroll down to that old course, which will be the first check mark. That's the 2017 Spring Elementary Algebra 2 course. I'll just unclick this. I don't need to see it anymore, and hit Submit. And there you go. And so now I just see my current courses. For the purposes of this example, there's just one, obviously. And then I would go forward with my future semester and any kind of other updates that I want to make. Again, I guess the very next thing I would possibly do in my own checklist would be to go into that new course and click on the date management tool and use that to kind of conveniently update all the dates on assignment deadlines and test availability and announcement dates and things like that. But I'll leave that for another video. I think that's good enough for this one. So course copy tool, yeah, basically just one single step, and you will be copying all of your old materials forward. And that's another tool on Blackboard that saves us a lot of time at this particular moment when you're transitioning from one semester of online teaching to your second semester. And I hope that that second semester does go at least as well, hopefully even better now that you're more knowledgeable about it in your online teaching practicum. So hopefully that's helpful. Again, if you have any other questions, feel free to email me on the Kingsborough email system, and I hope that I will talk to you soon. And good luck this summer and for the fall. Take care, everybody.